AI agents are here to stay. And if you don't understand how to integrate AI agents into your workflows, you will get beat by people that do. In this video, we're going to dive into the ultimate customer support agent that classifies your emails regarding if they're customer support or not. And if they are, it responds to the message, creates a draft that you can review. So let's dive right into this. So this is the customer support agent. Basically what happens is if you get a customer support email, so let's say I send an email saying customer support inquiry, I would like a refund, please. Basically what happens is if we go to this workflow and test it out, we can see it's classifying it. It met the classification. Then it's checking the Pinecone database for our customer service knowledge base. And then basically what it's doing is it's creating a draft and sending a message to that draft. So you can see what happens here. If I refresh this, in a moment we should see the message that we got, I would like a refund, please. And then we would see the draft that it's responding with. So the draft here, you can see, thank you for contacting us. We strive to ensure blah, 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 blah. To process a refund, please provide us with order number, reason for the return. And so this is basically just like a templated out message using the customer support guidelines that I generated using ChatGPT. But you can replace these guidelines with whatever guidelines you would like to use. And so with that being said, let's actually dive into how to build this out such that by the end of the video you can have this up and running fully on your computer, and you can have it customized to your workflows, to your business, and the knowledge base. So this is a little bit of what it looks like and what we'll be recreating. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here and I'm actually going to create a new workflow. I'm going to call it the customer support agent. So first things first, when building this agent, we always want to start with our trigger. In this case, it's going to be when receiving an email reply. So we're actually going to go and we're going to click on this start first step. It's taking a second to load here. And we're going to add the on receiving an email trigger inside of Gmail. So we're going to be using a Gmail node. We can type in Gmail over here. On message received is going to be the trigger. And I'm going to choose the inbox. In order to set this up, you're going to add credentials here. So you're going to click the edit. And then you can basically use the OAuth 2 tutorial. I have a tutorial on the account on my YouTube channel showing you how to actually add the client ID and the client secret. But once you do that, you'll be able to just sign into your account here. And this is going to be on message received. So this is going to be what's going to start the entire flow. The next thing we want to do is once we receive a message to this Gmail trigger, we essentially want to classify it as, is it a customer support inquiry or not? So what we're going to do next is we're going to go and we're going to add the text classifier. And we're going to use, if we're going to execute the previous node so that we can get some data in here, it'll need to receive a email. So I'm actually just going to go here and I'm going to go to start. Alright, so I'm going to send an email to this inbox. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to compose the recipient. I'm going to add the email in here. And then I'm going to add customer support inquiry. Can I have a refund, please? And I'm going to click send. And then when I'm doing that, it's going to send it, and we'll actually be able to pull some information into the N8N database here. So now if I click execute previous nodes, we should get some data. If not, it might take a couple seconds for the email to land in the inbox. So in that case, I'm just going to wait a couple seconds here, and then I'm going to run it one more time. So you can see the workflow here. I'm going to click test workflow. And then boom, this one doesn't have a model, so it makes sense that it's not executing properly. Alright, there we go. Looks like we got some information here. The text to classify is going to be the actual body of the email. So we can actually scroll down on this Gmail trigger, and we can go and find the body of this email. So we have the subject down here, we have the to, the from, and then the little snippet here. So what we're going to do is change this to JSON, and what I want is the body of this. So it looks like this is actually going to be snippet. So we're going to add json.snippet in here, and we're going to add a category, customer support And we're basically going to say description, if the email is a customer support inquiry and is inquiring and is asking about any of the following, and we're going to say if they are, let's say, asking for a refund, I'll show you the expression here, asking for a refund, and then if they are have questions about the product, trying to get in contact with a human, and concerns about quality of the product. So we can basically just add a couple things in here to help it classify this. We're going to add another category called we can just call it other, and we can say the description is this email has nothing, this email is not a customer support inquiry. And this text classifier tool is pretty solid in terms of being able to catch what we mean with a pretty simple description. So I'm going to use the OpenAI chat model now. I'm just going to put in GPT-4o mini. You can put in your API key to connect that, and basically if it classifies it as customer support, it'll go down this path. If it doesn't, it'll go down the other one. And so what we can do is we can go to the customer support path. Instead of the customer support path, what we're going to want to do is essentially we can have it start to go into the agent. So we're going to click AI agent here, and this is actually going to be a conversational agent because it's actually going to be a conversation. We're going to define this below. The text is going to be from the previous nodes. So actually what we can do is we can add in a field here called, let's do this. We can add in a field where we just set the variable. So if we go to the edit fields column, it should be right here. We can set the fields as manual mapping, add field, the name of the field, and we can call this email body. In the string, if we execute previous nodes, alright, it doesn't have access to the OpenAI chat module. Okay, why did this go all the way over here? That's really odd. Alright, so what we want to do is just redo this here. So we're gonna not connect that yet. We're going to set fields, and we're going to connect that to that. The text classifier. Inside of the set fields, we're going to set this to manual, add field, email underscore body. And then we're going to add as a thread ID. That way, if we want to reply to the thread, it looks like this is bugging out over here, so I'm just going to delete that so we can test this. Alright. What do you mean I don't have access? Alright. So this is we're gonna test the workflow here. I don't understand why it's bugging out. We have the text classifier. Inside of the edit fields, let's just delete that for now. Execute previous nodes. We're actually gonna go over here, send another message. I'm gonna go to compose, and then I'm gonna go to customer support inquiry. Hey, Ethan, I would like a refund. And this should give us some data to add back in here, so let's test this out. Let's actually save this, and maybe we can just reconnect this. OpenAI chat module. So I'm actually going to connect Claude because it looks like OpenAI doesn't want to let me connect it. So basically I just added an Anthropic Claude module because OpenAI was bugging out. I just added in my API key in the credentials here. So we have the Anthropic chat model in here now. And so we basically want to edit the fields and set them. So we have, if we go to schema here, we have the email body, which should be the snippet here. We're going to add that in, set email body to that. And then the thread ID, we're going to set as the thread ID. So we have the labels, inbox labels, and we're actually going to, I believe it's, yeah, right here, thread ID. All right, and so we're basically just going to set those fields. And the next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to go in and build out this agent. So we're going to have the advanced AI agent. And we're going to have this be a conversational agent. Boom. And now inside of the conversational agent, this is going to be the customer support agent. Boom. All right, so inside of the customer support agent, we're going to add a chat model. Let's try OpenAI again this time. See if that's going to work at all. Inside of the memory, we're going to add a window buffer memory. Actually, no, we're not. We're going to add a so inside of the agent, we're going to actually go to tools here, and then we're going to use the vector store tool. We're going to say that this retrieves data about our customer support documentation or knowledge base. And we're going to call this customer support docs. We're going to keep the limit at 4. We're going to add a vector store in here. We're going to use Pinecone. You're basically going to set up a Pinecone API key. It's pretty simple. You'll just go to pinecone.com. You'll create an API key. We're going to retrieve documents, and then for the index, we're going to set this to sample. All right, so now we have the vector store, and we have the documentation. And the next thing we're going to do is actually we're going to add in the OpenAI chat model. So let's try this one more time. OpenAI chat model, GPT-4o mini. And then inside of this, in the embeddings, we're going to add OpenAI embeddings. Text embedding small. And so that will give us all of the models in the vector storage. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to click save. We're actually going to go and create a new workflow so that we can add some information into this Pinecone database. And so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go and create a new, I'm going to save that. Uh-oh, did it not save? Uh-oh. Please tell me that saved. God damn it. All right. So now we're actually going to create just a really quick workflow to actually add our knowledge base into the Pinecone database. So what we're going to do is we're going to trigger this manually. We're going to download a drive file. So we're going to click download, or let's go to drive. And we're going to download a file. And then we're going to choose the file. So I'm going to choose customer support. And basically what I did was just use ChatGPT to generate this customer support documentation. But you can obviously replace this with whatever your documentation is. So this is the documentation here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add the document to the Pinecone vector store. So we're going to add documents to vector store here. And then boom. And then Pinecone index is going to be sample again. And then we're going to use the default data loader, and then it's going to load that. The embedding is just going to be an OpenAI embedding, and then inside of this default data loader, we're going to use the recursive character text splitter, and then on the recursive data text splitter in the default data loader, or sorry, go back to the default data loader. What it's going to look like is loading all the input data automatically We're going to use binary actually. Automatically detecting by MIME type. And then inside of the Pinecone vector store, we're actually going to choose a document to add in this. And this is going to be the Google Drive document that we just downloaded. And so in the Pinecone namespace, we're going to call this customer support namespace. Boom. And then what we're going to do is we're going to actually add this in there. And so we can test out this workflow. Let's see if it works. Pinecone vector store. It's taking this document and it's adding it to the Pinecone vector store. And so boom, page content like this. And it looks like it worked. So now that that document is in, I'll just call this add to Pinecone. Boom. Make sure you save it. Now we have the customer support agent. So now that this is in the Pinecone vector store, we're going to make sure that the namespace is again customer support. That from the right vector store. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a tool. It's going to be the Gmail tool, and we're going to say create a draft. And so we're going to say create a draft or reply. So I believe this is going to be reply to the message ID. So what we're going to be doing here is we're going to change message to draft. We're going to the subject. We're going to use an AI expression. So you can do two curly braces. It's going to be, we're going to use from AI and call this subject. And then we're going to use, and then under the email type, it's going to be text, and then the message is going to be from AI email body. From AI email body. And then under that, we're going to send replies. The thread ID is going to be thread ID from the previous one. So we're going to change the thread ID. Boom. Let's use this schema here. Okay, where's the thread ID at? Boom, thread ID. We're going to add that in here. I think we have to change this to expression first. Thread ID, JSON.threadID, and then the to email is going to be whoever sent it to us. So the original address here, whatever the from was on the original one, that's going to be the to on this one. So now let's actually test this out. So if we test this workflow, we need to send a message again. So if I go here, compose, and I say customer support inquiry, and then I'm going to say I would like a refund, please. Boom. Now let's give this a couple seconds and we'll watch this work. So I'm going to test this workflow out again. Once it gets received, it will run properly. There we go. If it's a customer support inquiry, it's going to the vector store, going to the chat model, and then it's going to be creating a draft here. So we can go here. Oh yeah, one more thing. So the last thing I'm noticing is we want to make sure that all of this is defined. This is going to be a conversational agent. We're going to define this below. We're going to set content to email body. And then we're going to create a system message, and we're going to give it a system message for our customer support agent. And so I'll just say like you are a customer support agent, boom, boom, boom. It doesn't have to be super specific. It's just saying you are a customer support agent. Your job is to check the vector store and reply based on the knowledge guidelines. So now if we do this again one more time, all right, never mind. Make this a tools agent. And same system message. always refining here. So text classification, going here. Now that we give it the proper instructions, it's going to go through these vector stores, check it a couple times, and then it should actually send a response. So let me actually go to this other email here 1 second. We can see now if I go to the customer support inquiries section, it drafted up this email. Obviously in the prompt says Kelly customer support ABC Corp. And so how we would change that is we basically go to this customer support agent, and we would give it more queries down here. So if I say like always sign off as Ethan Nelson, founder of Smart Scaling AI. Now if we test this one more time, we'll see that it'll actually go and it will create the draft as Ethan Nelson. So if we wait for this draft to be created, it's checking the vector store. Should be creating the draft here in a second. Now we can see it says, all right, it didn't actually change that. I think it's because it was an old email. But basically you can do as much prompt engineering in here as you want. Inside of this, you can use Prometheus. This is the best prompt engineering tool that I've come across to date. And so if you use Prometheus, you'll be able to test exactly what this prompt is and see exactly what the output is. And this is how you can really increase the quality of your prompting. Highly recommend it. And so if you want the full workflow for this, you can actually head to the community in the description. And so basically you'll just go to the community, you'll go to the classroom section, and all of the AI agent templates are in here. So if you go to the templates here, you'll be able to inside of here the specific agent template inside of the templates right here. And so you can basically just go here. This is a different agent, but it would be the same concept. Find the right agent, click it. You're going to download the JSON file. So if I download this JSON file, then what you're going to do is after you download the JSON file, or just replace that, then what you're going to do is you're going to go over to the workflow. You're going to click this. You're going to click import from file. And then you'll actually be able to just see that agent directly in there. And then once you import it, this whole thing will just show up directly inside of your N8N scenario, so you don't have to recreate this entire thing from scratch. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for a lot more N8N agent builds as well as relevance AI builds.